that I put into all my work. And ever since I was 2 years old, what my mom would do, Miss Ritchie, she would put all the art supplies around me, crayon, paint, papers, newspapers, leaves. We would go outside, explore whatever we see around me. And then after that, we would use those materials because materials stuck. But it's the box of a cardboard, of a cornflakes box. I just use all kinds of materials because who said that you have to use special paper and I don't know, proper crayons. You can also use rocks outside. I'm pretty sure some of you may have been drawing on the pavement with rocks, and you can see some colors coming out, right? So I always do something like this. I like to explore with my art material. And the reason why I did it was because there was a challenge that I had faced my entire life, which was to try to become like you guys, try to make friends, try to understand my teachers. Even now, sometimes I don't understand my teachers because, of course, my healing, sometimes I miss out something, right? And that's normal. Even, I'm pretty sure some of you may have missed out something. But for me, if I missed out something, I have to really pay attention that I am not just a person who cannot heal. I'm also trying to help other people become artists like me, right? And I also, of course, create artworks about my creativity and my imaginative ideas, like whatever I dream at night. I'm pretty sure you guys may have been drawing a few nightmares or some dreams of yours, right? And I have drawn a sketch of a nightmare I had, but how did I put it into a good way? I used different features of my life and I connected it all together to make
They started to become artworks, and then you guys think more, and then you drew all of these other living art pieces.
Yeah. Also, speak a little louder so I can hear you. But I heard you, no way. Anybody else? How else do I create art?
Maybe you experience the thing that is outside of the art world and use it to express your feelings or your movement.
Yeah, I do that. I always do that to help other people know what I'm doing besides doing art all the time, that's for sure.
Maybe something that happened that you thought was kind of leading into an adventure. You do that. Yeah, probably memories.
Yeah, definitely. For example, if you can see here, I have a whole memory and I don't want to leave, right? And I was so sad and angry and I wanted to, but of course, even though I was excited for my future, I was scared to leave and move out. And so that's why I wanted to show my anger and my expression. So I took photographs of myself. So it doesn't have to be completely from the brain. It could also be an obvious image, like for example, me being so angry. And then if you learn from the elements of art, movement, you can see there's a movement of the hand changing all the way to power, which means that I'm trying to become stronger because I know that I will become stronger at the end of this journey. So that's how I came up with this idea. Yeah.
How much time did it take for you to draw?
For this one, I have written over here, it's like 6 to 7 hours.
That's it?
But this is not my only, this is not the only amount of time I've spent in my work. There are times, for example, I spend 48 hours, sometimes 6 months to create a painting.
Even that 6 hours would be 4 art lessons, just so you know.
Oh my god.
That would be.
Usually when I'm mad or something like that, I just draw it out.
Yeah, that's very important to draw out what you're feeling. Very important. Yeah.
If I'm mad, then I just scribble my pencil, then I try to draw my saying out.
That's great.
For example, when I'm sad or when I'm mad, when it's during class time, I just like doodle around my pages.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did here, right? And that's what's important. What you?
Sometimes when something is too realistic.
Yeah.
Modern art. Looks like a shell.
That's nice.
That's using. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
put that in your oil.
Oh my god, that
What
is
is that?
so
What
pretty.
thing is that? I think.
What is that?
The
What is it? Chicky?
I'll explain it.
Did you just speak in the head?
Basically, this sculpture is a little cochlea. It's called cochlea in the ear. It's inside both of my ears, and it's also in all of your ears. But in deaf people, in people who cannot hear, they have these little hair cells in your ear that are damaged, and because of that, I cannot hear. And so, how did I put that into a positive light? By using color. If you've seen in Margaret's class, Miss Margaret's class, if some of you may have last year, she uses a bunch of collage paper, right, with colorful, and then she would ask you to draw some textures around it, and so that's what I used inside. You can see, and I used wire, I used cardboard, I used plaster, which we're going to be using today, and this is something. It's a special type of material which is not part of the art world. It is part of a doctor's world. You use it in doctors. And what they do is you dip it in hot water, and then you can easily bend it. And that's how I made leaves. And so this represents the damaged hair cells. That's why I cannot hear. So I try to put it in a positive light, and I use light to kind of add more texture to it. So not everything has to be negative. You can always turn something positive so that other people can get inspired and understand your journey in a further way. What about you?
Oh, what is the net looking thing that looks light in?
Sorry?
What is the thing that looks the light in, like the white thing?
Yeah, the light is shining through the plaster, which makes it you cannot see a shadow. It is by Helen Keller, who is also a person who cannot hear and see.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
Yeah.
well, I can see, but yeah, she could not hear and she could not see.
Wait,
Well,
could
I
she
can
speak?
but I have a similar experience as her in terms of how she cannot hear. And so that's, I liked how she used it to quote, to put all the struggles I have faced in my life, in my experience, in my journey, into a positive light. And so that's why I wanted to show you. And yeah, and of course, which brings
I try to do a perfect circle. I just like do it again and again until I get it right. And then when I see a circle that's right, I just erase the many parts.
yeah, even I also do that all the time. For example, this here, actually no, this here. If you can see the teeth is a challenging thing to draw because you have to make sure the teeth is perfect. But and you can see whatever you want in your journey. And what I did was I played with my material. I'm not just using paint. I'm not just using crayons, pencils, all that. I'm using things that are outside of my box. I'm thinking outside of my box. And what I'm doing here is I found some rocks in my neighborhood, and I also found a tree bark. And this was a previous piece made. So what I did was I assembled it all together. It's called mixed media, where you're assembling all kinds of mediums all together in one piece. So I wanted to do that here. And what I did was I took some clay and then I played around and felt, because when you do art, you should enjoy what you're feeling whenever you do it. And that's what I did. I put clay and I really enjoyed playing with clay.
Why is there like two ends?
This? I'll explain that. So once I do that, bullying, you of course face challenges in terms of trying to not feel isolated, right? You were feeling lonely at that time, and that's what I would feel. I felt very lonely. And these are fist bumps where I was really angry, and I also wanted to express strength, being strong. So I would take some paint on my fist, and then I would put it right here. And I also did that here. I played with clay and I put my fist over here. I did some scratches because I'm trying to express my feelings. Because when you do art, especially when it comes to expressing your self-journey, you want to express what you're feeling at that moment. And so that's what I did here. And these rocks represent strength because rocks are hard, right? And it represents being strong. And it also represents, you know how when you're bullied, you have happy days, sometimes you have sad days, you have upset days. angry day, and that's why I wanted to show that really playing around with my material to show my experience as a kid who could not hear and who was bullied at the same time. Stick them along with it. Make it colorful. Because next class, I will not be there, but next class, you're going to be using paint, and you can use some more beads and some more colorful so you will experience something with a pepper. Project. Now the next step is to find out what colors represent your memory or what colors represent your feelings that you were facing throughout all kinds of experiences that I've heard, and then see how you can express that into painting, to beads, to rubber bands. You can stick stuff, you can be creative with whatever materials are in the art room, or even if you find materials outside of the art room the next 1 week, then bring them to class and then stick them into your project. So be inspired, use materials outside of the art room, use materials inside the art room, and then create something.
Thank you. Okay, can we give a nice clap for Christian for coming to work with us today?